such that any other institution given some delegated authority to prosecute must obtain a warrant from the office of the Attorney General. How come they didn't know? Should we change our laws because President Mahama is in government? All that the Attorney General did was to support a motion in court, a constitutionally created court, a body vested with adjudication to determine whether or not the creation of the Attorney General would have recourse to a warrant being obtained by the Office of the Special Prosecutor from the Attorney General, whether or not it's constitutional. The court determined. What has that got to do with the NDC? What has that gotten to do with the NDC? The judiciary, is it the headquarters of the NDC? Is the judiciary not an institution of state vested with such power? The MPP's argument is that no. Supreme Court was the body vested with the authority to look into the matter. If same should be upheld, why can't they go back to court? Is it a matter of somebody not willing to fight against corruption? As we speak today, what prevents Kisi Ajabin, if he wants to make Ghanaians proud, and of course, we are committed to Kisi Ajabin as a special prosecutor, an independent body, helping the people of Ghana to get justice for the gang rape orchestrated by the MPP in the last 8 years, leading to dissipation of our public purse, destruction of our resources, and sharing of same among themselves. We want Kisi Ajabin to do that. What prevents him from going to the Attorney General to obtain a warrant is a document being taken to court. That is the only impediment. That is the only procedural thing that Kisi Ajabin and the Office of the Special Prosecutor is required to do. If he has done that and can complain that the Attorney General is doing anything more than that to frustrate him, then the government would have a question to answer. The party will express concern. As we speak, that is not the issue. What prevents Kisi Ajabin, if the judgment of the High Court is still standing, what prevents him having the appetite to give fidelity to the people of Ghana on his responsibilities, to go back to the Attorney General, who is his colleague, and just apply for a warrant to proceed on his mandate? What prevents him?
Many have said that defeats the purpose of the Office of the Special Prosecutor being an independent body. And so if the OSP should go to the AG to seek authorization, what is the independence of that body? It means it's not independent again. It means you have to take authorization power and whatever it is from the Attorney General, which is not supposed to be so. That is why the Office of the Special Prosecutor was created, to make it an independent body.
My only disappointment in Mr. Kisi Ajabin is that in the last few years, as strong, as wielded personality as he is, one of the best lawyers we can talk about, have not shown the people of Ghana what he can do. He has not accounted for his stewardship. That is the problem. Minus that, I'm saying that when you obtain a warrant authorization, does that defeat the purpose of any evidence the special prosecutor is holding? Does that take away any evidence? Does that take away a docket? If the special prosecutor have come to say that, the Attorney General have collected a docket from me and preventing me from prosecuting same, Ghanaians will express some concerns. Is that the matter? Is that the case? Such that the very people who we are all looking to align, to pursue, are today standing at the windows. When I heard my senior brother Alasan Tampuli now sending sympathetic messages to the Attorney General and the Special Prosecutor, I knew it was hypocrisy at its height, because they were government appointees when assassination attempts were visited on the life of the Special Prosecutor. They were in government when Martin Amidu named President Akufo-Addo as a mother serpent of corruption. What it meant is that President Akufo-Addo is not just involved in corruption, he births it, they cook it at the Jubilee House, he was deep neck involved, and he's an enabler of corruption. That is what took the MPP to opposition. And so when institutions are being strengthened to deepen the fight against corruption, and same must be fought within the pretext of the rule of law, the MPP should not be lecturers on this subject. Because if there is anybody that should be worried, they should be worried, first of all, for creating an institution that undermines the Constitution per Article 88. They knew that deficit. They knew that you cannot arrogate the powers of the Attorney General without contradicting yourself with the Constitution. They knew. And so I don't see why a cure of a deficit as far as a public institution is concerned will amount to lack of commitment to fight corruption. I don't see that as a fact. And the MPP will fall flat in any argument they seek to do. Recently, what they have sought to do is to demonstrate obstructionist tendencies, is to demonstrate some aggression, attack everything and anything with their pursuit to ensure that the government fails, so that they can say that because they failed, the NDC also failed. I mean, let me tell you that in all of it, a slow but sure government is far better than a Ponzi scheme and a group of people who gang raped this country. And I can say that President Mahama, by all standards, is giving the people of Ghana a better alternative than what we had between 2016 and 2024. President Mahama is governing this country in a way that
does the grant of the warrant you talk about by the Attorney General cure the so-called Article 88 error?
It does. That is what the law says. That is what the law says. And I'm saying that if you apply to the Attorney General and he says, don't pursue somebody who has been alleged to have, squandered money or public money, then he would have a cause to complain. That is not the case. President Mahama will not sit down and allow anybody to obstruct the fight against corruption. That is why he rose from his seat to defend the special prosecutor, even though the legislature felt that there was something wrong with the institution. That is why he has always defended that institution. That is why the commitment with which President Mahama, within 1 year, 5 months, have worked closely with a civil society organization. Under President Mahama, everybody can talk and anybody can talk, and we must respect same. President Mahama solicits everyone's opinion. That is why today, journalists are not being killed. That is why today, there is no assassination attempt. That is why today, people like
you've made that point over and over again, and I understand that. But then in my question, I need to explain and further. I understand. But then let me ask this question. When I ask you about if the warrant, cures the so-called Article 88 error, you said yes, it does. How? Explain that to me. How does it cure it? Because
I'm not a lawyer, but I'm saying that.
I know you're not a lawyer, but you're in law school. You're studying to be a lawyer.
The court says that it is the warrant that cures the constitutional deficit. Does that in itself amount to any obstruction as far as the fight against corruption by the OSP is concerned?
Is the NDC and the Mahama administration committed in the fight against corruption?
That is why the OSP today is not complaining about budget allocation to investigate and to prosecute persons alleged to have taken money from the state.
But many say the actions and inactions of persons within this administration is weakening the fight against corruption and weakening the OSP in the fight against corruption.
But those who perpetrated assassination attempt on his life were rather enabling him to fight corruption. And I'm saying that today, the special prosecutor can walk on the streets of Accra and go and buy water and eat and go back home and allowed to do his work.
At first, he couldn't do that?
Did he experience him? The special prosecutor was at the point living in America to do his work.
He told you that he was living in America
He couldn't live in his own. Didn't you know that there were assassination attempts on him? Didn't he complain? Did you not see persons like Paul Adomotri visit a whole verbal war on the special prosecutor, attacking him of why he bought bulletproof cars? Didn't you hear the special prosecutor becoming a musician and composing songs of loneliness? Didn't you hear? Didn't Martin Amidu, who was the third special prosecutor appointed by President Akufo-Addo, label him as a mother serpent of corruption and resigned?
Okay.
Did Kesia Jabin resign under President Mahama?
But he never resigned under Akufo-Addo too.
Martin Amidu resigned and named President Akufo-Addo mother serpent of corruption. And I'm saying that today, Kesia Jabin walks all over the place in public. And social media content creators are following him. And he's excited. He doesn't have to run and hide for his life. But same was not his experience under President Akufo-Addo. Same. The MP went for his life.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for your time. Mustafa Gbandi is Deputy General Secretary of the NDC and Deputy Director of Operations at the Jubilee House. This is Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra.
The Office of the Special Prosecutor, OSP, has also filed a stay of execution and a notice of appeal against a High Court ruling directing the Attorney General to take over prosecutions initiated by his office. The application for stay of execution is expected to be heard on May 21 by the General Jurisdiction Division of the High Court. This was disclosed in court today when parties appeared in the Strategic Mobilization Limited SML case, in which former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is an accused person. The ruling being challenged held that the OSP requires specific authorization under its parent act to prosecute cases. In the absence of such authorization, the courts declared the prosecutions invalid. The development has led to adjournment in affected cases pending a determination of the OSP's prosecutorial mandate. Moving on, the Black Stars head coach Carlos Queiroz has expressed his commitment to selecting capable and experienced players to improve the fortunes of the team ahead of the World Cup. Responding to questions from journalists at his official unveiling by the Ghana Football Association, he stated that player selection will be based on strict and well-defined criteria.
You're still listening to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. A few of your WhatsApp messages. Johnson in Tema says we should leave the OSP to work. In fact, this country needs institutions like the OSP to ensure that corruption is brought to an end. And today, the Black Stars, the new national team coach, the Black Stars of Ghana, was unveiled today at a ceremony at the Alisa Hotel here in Accra. Let's get some more perspective on it and speak to Benjamin Graham, a sports journalist, on what the new Black Star coach said today at the press conference. Indeed, there's hope for the country as we prepare for the World Cup this year. Benjamin, thank you very much for your time. I'm sure you are at this particular press conference. You have any hope following these comments made by the new head coach? I'm afraid Benjamin is not on the line. We'll try and raise Benjamin on the phone and speak to him on the unveiling of the new Black Stars coach today. Carlos Queiroz has expressed commitment in selecting capable players to ensure that Ghana performs well or better in the FIFA 2026 World Cup, which will take place in the USA, Canada, and Mexico.
Of course, you know that international football have a lot of demands, and it is also my responsibility to guarantee that the players that I select, and one, they are capable, they are fit, they have experience, because probably you don't know, but in national team games, one shirt, the national team shirt in the locker room, the weight it is 20 grams. But the moment the player crosses the line and starts the game, that shirt turns 20 kilos, because the responsibility is huge to play for the country. So the criteria of selection, they must be very well determined, taking consideration the performance, the experience, the knowledge, the character of the players, the attitude of the players, because to play for the national team is completely different to play for one club.
You are the new coach of the Black Stars, Carlos Queiroz. Now let's go into the phone line and speak to Benjamin Graham again. This time I hope that the line remains better. Benjamin, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. Were you at the press conference today?
Yeah, I was at the press conference.
You convinced what the new coach said?
I mean, he's already been in Ghana. He arrived last night, this morning. At 9:30, he was at the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and he had the opportunity of speaking to the minister. Of course, he's acknowledged the fact that there's a very huge responsibility, and it's something that he understands. He reckons that it's going to be difficult, but obviously he says he's a winning coach, and for that matter, he loves the challenge that we've thrown to him. So we wait to see exactly how he's able to marshal all these arsenals to navigate or help Ghana get into a very good position at the World Cup.
He talks about, selecting capable and experienced players to improve the fortunes of the Black Stars at the World Cup. We have capable players, we have experienced players.
To be honest with you, and to be fair, this is what I call a clean slate for every player. And this is a World Cup that we are going that, unfortunately, we find ourselves at a crossroad. Now, granted, Otuado had even penciled some players down that they were going to be his top picks for selection. Carlos Queiroz is coming in with a different, slate, and is now going to observe and decide who you want to work with. There's a World Cup that potentially not going to have Kudus Mohamed there. There's a World Cup that you have a lot of your players dip in form or are not in great shape. For instance, we did see psychologically Jordan Ayew's team, Leicester City, being relegated to the lower tier of the English league, for instance, from the Championship to League One. So obviously he's not in great form. Fatau Shalku potentially was supposed to be one of the good players there, but again, not in great form. So it tells you that we have no structure, no foundation going to the World Cup. And so he's going to start everything from the scratch. And so there isn't much time for him to put all these things together. We've got like two friendly matches for him to even begin to put something together as we navigate our way through to the World Cup. So we've got players, yes, but if you take a look at their form at the moment, you might not be really excited about it. And so you're hoping that, well, they may be able to put up something, but there are those who said that, he's done it in Iran, he did it in Egypt. Those teams had the structure already. He walks in and he gets them a little bit of pep talk, and then they're good to go. In our case, we saw what happened to our friendly match against Austria and Germany, and we still feel something is missing somewhere. So in my mind, he's got little time to put the structures together. So I am just not too optimistic, but I'm just trying to keep people quiet.
Looking at the period from now till the World Cup, are we not expecting too much from him?
Absolutely. I mean, Ghanaians love their football. And let me be honest with you and also tell you why Ghanaians are anxious about the World Cup. This is Ghana's 20 years anniversary since we start playing or we start qualifying for the World Cup. Our first World Cup was back in 2006, and we are in 2026 again going to the World Cup. So 20 years already has gone. And so whilst we celebrate the fact that, yes, our appearance at the World Cup is now 20 years, we seem to find ourselves in a situation where we never wanted to be, because now we're going to a World Cup where we don't even know our left and right. We just had a coach. He's now going to sit together. He's now going to ask questions. He's going to work with the backroom staff that existed with Otuado, ask all the necessary questions that he needs to ask, and then begin to put his doors together. So he's going to build his own structure. He's going to build his own pattern with the players, and it's going to be too soon for us to get our first game played. And you remember, the last time we played at the World Cup, which of course we won massively, was back in June 2006. We played, I think, Czech Republic. We won by 2 goals to 1 or so. And the 17th of June, we are playing against Panama. So somebody will tell you that, in 17th of June, we never lose a match or we've not lost a match at the World Cup. That's not something I want to deal with. But I want to deal with the fact that Ghanaians are expecting a lot. We are potentially at the next World Cup. We are there already. We need to go and perform. But we are performing with a new coach. We just walked in. He's got 4 months to work with us. We should be cautiously optimistic. Absolutely. We need to.
Ben, thank you very much for your time. Benjamin
Thank you
Graham
very
is the
much for
sports journalist speaking to us there. This is Eyewitness News coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. The Constitution and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament has been doing some work on the anti-LGBT bill.
The chairman of Parliament's Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee, Shaibu Mahama, has described former President Akufo-Addo's decision not to assent to the anti-LGBTQ plus bill as a blessing in disguise. According to him, the development presents the 9th Parliament with a chance to review the bill's provisions and ensure that the rights of individuals are protected. He made the statement in his opening remarks at a stakeholder engagement on the anti-LGBTQ plus bill.
Some time back, but with a fraction of time, many other things would have happened. Many events would have changed stuff. And so for us, it's a blessing in disguise. So if there were some clauses that were missed out in considering at the last sitting of Parliament before the Parliament lapsed, we have the opportunity of incorporating, deleting, amending, or reshaping the nature of the bill. We take cognizance of the rights of individuals who may be affected by this, and we're making the provisions in such a way that no individual, no Ghanaian's rights are going to be infringed upon. We also take note.
Shaibu Mahama is the chairman of Parliament's Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee. However, the deputy ranking member of the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee, Al-Hassan Tampuli, proposed that the bill be passed in its current form, arguing that it had already gained public acceptance by being approved by the 8th Parliament.
Apart from the dates, so if you look at the bill, Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2025, apart from the dates, practically every provision has been retained. Now, I want to also believe that when the bill went to the Private Members' Bill Committee, ably chaired by the first Deputy Speaker, some discussions have taken place, and I will leave that to my colleagues among the co-sponsors to speak to that. But as far as I'm concerned, we don't have to do much to this bill. Everybody has accepted the content of this bill as it was passed, and everyone in Ghana accepts that this is a bill that is fit for purpose. So, Mr. Chairman, I don't think we should tinker with any provision in this bill as far as today's sitting and then subsequent sittings are concerned.
That was the deputy ranking member on the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament, Al-Hassan Tampuli.
You're also listening to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. Before we go for business news, a statement is just coming in from the Ghana Grid Company Limited. It says major fire incident at GRIDCo's Akosombo substation in the Eastern region. It says a fire outbreak has been reported at the Akosombo substation at 2 p.m. today, causing a disruption in operations and power generation. As a result, power supply has been affected in some parts of the country. Emergency response teams have been deployed to the site and are working around the clock to assess the situation and initiate immediate solution and actions. A full evaluation is currently underway to determine the extent of the impact and to enable technical teams to commence processes to restore normal operations as quickly as possible. We wish to assure the public that our technical teams are actively working to manage the situation, and every effort is being made to stabilize the system and minimize disruption. Signed, Corporate Affairs Communications from the Ghana Grid Company Limited. It's now time for Citi Business News. Remember, Citi Business News on Eyewitness News is brought to you by Republic Bank. We are the one for you. Join the Republic verse. Do more, shine more. Big up.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Mr. Kojo, 1 minute before you go to work. The AC you said you want to fix, it won't work.
Why?
Because the electrician will come and chisel my wall. It will make my building weak. Wait, is that a puppy? No animals in my house, oh.
Kojo knows all the challenges about renting. That was his reality until he discovered Republic Bank. With Republic Bank's flexible mortgage solutions, you can move from tenant to homeowner quickly. Imagine stepping into your own home, a place for your family to grow and create memories. Big up. Join the Republic Verse. Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Ejubi Miafe Akente. Let's settle for the details. About 2.6 million Ghanaians remain food insecure, despite 91% of the population recording acceptable food consumption levels. The latest Food Insecurity Vulnerability Report for October to December 2025, released by the Ghana Statistical Service, shows that while an estimated 29.8 million people are food secure, deprivation remains concentrated in specific parts of the country. Here is the government statistician Dr. Hassan Idrisu with highlights of the report.
At the national level, there is some resilience, which is good news. In fact, about 91% of households in nearly 30 million people have acceptable food consumption. So you're talking about 30 million out of about 34, population. That is not the full story, though. Beneath this average, about 3 million people remain vulnerable, facing poor or borderline food consumption. More importantly, the strongest signal in the data is not just about consumption, it's about stress. In fact, about 1 in 3 households is adopting medium to high coping strategies. Nearly 1 in 4 households is already in crisis or emergency coping. And households are reducing meal quality, borrowing to survive, and in some cases, selling productive assets or cutting spending on health and education to cope.
You heard government statistician Dr. Al-Hassan Idrisu. Away from that, the Bank of Ghana is intensifying efforts to deepen access to secured credit, insisting the benefits of improved macroeconomic gains must be felt across all sectors of the economy. Data from the central bank shows that Ghana's collateral registry has recorded over 1.92 million secure transactions between 2010 and 2025, with an average of about 9,000 security interests registered weekly. Speaking at sensitization workshop on the Borrowers and Lenders Act 2020, organized by the Association of Ghana Industries (AGI), advisor to the governor, Franklin Belnyi, said the collateral registry remains central to transforming Ghana's credit ecosystem.
The registry is responsible for keeping and maintaining a platform for the registration of security interests, conduct of searches, assisting with enforcement in the event of a default, as well as other post-registration activities. Over the years, the registry has made remarkable strides in transforming Ghana's credit landscape, recording a total of 1,921,000 secure transactions registered between 2010 and 2025. These statistics underline the critical role the collateral registry continues to play in broadening access to credit, particularly for the underserved in the economy. The outcomes are encouraging and demonstrate the growing confidence in Ghana's secured lending ecosystem. However, to the Bank of Ghana, these figures strengthen our resolve to deepen these gains, expand outreach, and ensure that the benefits of secured credit are felt more broadly across the economy.
Franklin Belnyi is an advisor to the governor of the Bank of Ghana. Meanwhile, president of the Association of Ghana Industries, Kofi Nsiapoko, is urging clearer regulatory guidelines to ensure businesses are not constrained by ambiguities in the secured lending framework as they seek easier access to credit.
Indeed, macroeconomic stability has a positive bearing on lending rates. Access to finance remains a critical pillar for growth, expansion, and sustainability. However, access must be supported by clear rules, mutual accountability, and a shared understanding of rights and obligations.
You heard President of AGI Kofi Nsiapoku. Now, Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture Amelia Arthur has acknowledged that weak enforcement remains the biggest obstacle to restoring order in the country's fisheries sector, warning that reforms will only succeed if compliance improves across all levels.
Declarations do not deliver results. Declarations do not deliver results. Implementation does. And we shall work together to implement. Transparency and accountability will define our success. This responsibility is collective, government, industry, and communities alike. And while enforcement remains critical, it is voluntary compliance. And I really urge this project to work towards achieving voluntary compliance. If there's compliance, we will not be worrying about enforcement. But because there's no compliance, we have to. And you know, I say this openly, frankly, in the spirit of transparency, as a sector, as a ministry, our weakest link is enforcement, compliance and enforcement. But it would be great if this project can work towards achieving voluntary compliance on the part of all the actors at sea, not just industry.
You heard Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture Honorable Amelia Arthur speaking at a stakeholder workshop on a new fisheries initiative by the Global Fisheries and Resilience Action. And that's all for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News, brought to you by Republic Bank. We're the one for you. Join the Republic verse, do more, shine more, big up. I am Ejibi Wiafe Akinti. Up next is Point Blank.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Yes. Momo. It has made life happen in lots of good ways.
Mr. Kwanzaa, Mensaka insurance claim no.
It has put together beautiful weddings. It has filled the bellies of boys at their favorite wachi joint.
My guy, stop. Who they chop cancel these days?
It has made millions of businesses possible.
Mensaka no. We are back in business.
With just a few taps, money moves faster, easier, and safer. Momo understands the weight of your trust in us. We continuously enhance security with features like self-paying reset to help you protect your money. Momo will only call you with 0244 300,000. No MTN or Momo staff will call or ask for your PIN or one-time password. Do not transfer funds to anyone whose identity you have not verified. Do not approve any prompts you have not initiated. Momo, still Munsaka.
Electroland Ghana Limited, ye mamo achedie kesio. We ye de maye dwedi fa wo mni ye dini ye o. Esanse mu no kredi aso ye ninti. Ye mamo achedie kesie pa. Achedie kesia ye de ma wo enemy. Every Accra ekotamali. Ghana fa na nyina. Electroland eye number 1. Ne hiane sa ubeto Samsung, TCL, Media eni Nasco niama ewo Electroland showroom. Eni anamo si fa wo mo Ghana fa na nyina. Announce dial *928*8888# Ube to miss wako register.electrolandraffles.com. And now boy na watching ye busumi akra de yibi. Na wetu nya chedie kesie pa. Free TVs, ACs, fridges, gas cookers, washing machines, sound towers, mobile phones, any keka ho ye de ma won kwa. Jumedi NLA Caritas platform no agiatum. Kai say nhihye kakra wo ho. Electroland Ghana, rewarding your loyalty the big way.
The World Cup is coming, and this time you're not just watching it, you're living it. Match Experience Hospitality is giving you front row access to football's biggest stage in absolute style. Think VIP stadium seating, exclusive lounges, gourmet dining, and priority access. No stress, no hassle, just pure football luxury. This isn't just a ticket. This is the World Cup experience. With over a decade as an official FIFA sales agent, Match Experience Hospitality knows exactly how to turn a match into a lifetime memory. So upgrade your World Cup. Call 055-155-1119. Visit matchexphospitality.com or walk into any Absa Bank branch, our official banking partner today. Match Experience Hospitality. Don't just watch the game, live it. Match Experience Hospitality is doing this with Absa Bank as its official banking partner and GRIDCo as your official travel insurance partner.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Welcome back. You're still listening to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. And this is Point Blank. Tonight, my guest on Point Blank is the Member of Parliament for the Atebubu-Amantin constituency, a 3-term Member of Parliament. He's a member of the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament, also a member of the Lands and Natural Resources Committee of Parliament as well, and Sanitation Committee. My guest tonight is Honorable Sanja Nanja, a Member of Parliament for the Atebubu-Amantin constituency. Honorable, good evening. Thank you very much for your time.
Good evening, my brother.
And he's also a member of the Legal and Constitutional Affairs Committee of Parliament, currently meeting somewhere in the Fiesta Royale Hotel to consider the anti-LGBT bill, which has become a controversial one in recent times. Honorable, thank you very much for your time again. What are you doing at the Fiesta Royale Hotel? What really are you doing?
Yes. In the first place, let me extend my warmest greetings to my constituent and your cherished listeners. And thank you too for inviting me to your program. You know, I'm actually in love with Citi. Anytime in Accra, I listen to Citi. And because of Pastor Wenger, when he used to preach here, my radio, I don't turn it off from Citi.
Thank you. We'll give you an award.
Every dawn I listen to the preaching from there. And currently, what we are doing as a Committee on Constitutional and Legal Affairs is the current tropical issue in the country, that is the LGBTQ what bill.
Plus.
So that is a bill that the committee is looking at. The bill is actually a private member's bill, which should have been, which was passed, but was not assent in the 8th Parliament.
Okay.
And the standing orders and then the laws of the country says that once a parliament, there's a bill before parliament and it's not able to get the presidential assent, or it's not able to go to its full length and the parliament expires, the bill actually also expires with that parliament. So after the bill failed to get the assent of the president in 2024, and the 8th Parliament is dissolved, the bill has equally, there's no bill as now. Now the new bill is a new bill altogether. Even though there are people who are, even including lawyers, are proposing that, once the bill has gone through all the stages, it's just a matter of the president assenting, but that is not the law. The law says that the bill is no more there. So there is nothing for the president to sign. So if the sponsors of the bill still have interest, they organize themselves. And today when I look at the sponsors, in the previous parliament, it was only one MPP member who was a co-sponsor.
Okay.
That was a Reverend Intifojo. But today, I've seen that other MPP members
have joined.
I think Tampuli's name is there. Kabiru's name is there, and some others have joined. So this even tells you that it's a new bill.
It's a new bill, yeah.
Because the sponsors have changed or they've increased them. So, and Parliament must work within its own laws.
Yeah.
That's the standing orders and the state laws. So the bill was reintroduced into the Parliament for the first reading and referred to the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee.
Which is your committee?
Yes.
Okay.
And today was set. We were to meet somewhere last week, but something happened and then we couldn't meet. I don't know. It was postponed and rescheduled today. So today and tomorrow, stakeholders have joined. Stakeholders have joined us. The traditional authorities, CSOs, NGOs, SHRAG. SHRAG has even presented a paper, and others have brought memorandums asking for either some changes we done to some clauses,
okay,
or they think certain things must be reviewed. So you see how important it is for the bill to come back. So after today's program, after the opening sessions, the office of the chief imam was given opportunity to speak. The same thing, SHRAG spoke, and the CSOs
also
spoke, and the traditional authorities, a queen mother, one of the queen mothers, also made an input. So it is more or less a stakeholder engagement. That was the first section.
Okay.
After the first session, we then went into the bill itself, looking at it clause by clause, making sure that every dot and cross is put in place.
Okay.
And even fine-tune some of the clauses, maybe the grammar or the typo error.
Yeah.
So after all this have been done, we look at the principles behind the bill, just like any other bill. Is it even necessary for us to pass that bill?
Yeah. Is it a priority?
Priority. So that one is Parliament in general, the plenary. They are expecting us to generate a committee to generate a report. And when the report comes, we present the report, and that is the second reading.
Okay.
Where opportunity is given for the General House to debate it, especially the principles and memorandum behind the bill. So today, what we are doing, today and tomorrow, what we are doing, after the time I was leaving, I think we had done about 4 or 5 clauses.
Okay. How many clauses in general?
Well, I think there are about 18 clauses,
okay,
including the interpretation clause. There are 18 clauses. And we will continue tomorrow. Okay. Even though when I was coming, they hadn't closed, but we're around. So I know we'll be able to do about up to about 6, 7. Then tomorrow we'll
continue.
We hope to finish. Then the report will be generated, sent to Parliament for the second reading.
Is this a priority? I'm asking so because we've heard, the president say that that is not really a priority to Ghanaians as of now. But for the committee members working on this bill, is it a priority, and is there pressure on committee members to ensure that this thing is done as soon as possible?
In real terms, I would say there is no much pressure on it. But in what President said was in a way, in a context.
Okay.
Because the President as at now has nothing to do on the bill. Because it's not a government-sponsored bill.
Yeah.
It's not government business. It's a private member's bill. So the President will only have a role to play when the bill has gone through all the process and now got into him. When the bill is passed and got into him, that is where he has a role to play. So the President, I don't think, should be having sleepless night as to what will happen with the bill. Assuming the private members decide today that they've lost interest in the bill for one or two reasons, so be it. Except that government now decides that, okay, if the private members have lost interest, we have interest and we'll sponsor it. So at the moment, the burden should be on Parliament.
Yeah.
And to that extent, as the bill is with us, the committee, it should be the burden of the committee to see to it that the stakeholder engagement and all the necessary things that will be done at the committee level is done, and reports are generated and reported back to Parliament. So I'm saying there's no pressure, because we know we have to. Today, some people were even trying to suggest that once the thing has gone through all the stages,
whole process, the whole thing.
So there wasn't the need for us to go through. But that is what the standing orders and the constitution of the country says. That once a bill it comes with a parliament, in a particular parliament, and the parliament is not able to pass it fully, and it doesn't until it receives the presidential assent, it's not a law. Yeah. So once it has not been made a law, and that parliament is dissolved, the bill is equally dissolved. So some people had the argument, but the chairman was of a different view that no. This is a new bill, and everybody should feel free and put in his input. That is why I said I've seen some two groups have brought their memos, and then the Shrag has also presented a paper. So, but I'm very sure that once we are representing Ghanaians, people's representative, and I can tell you, if we go out there to do sampling, a survey, I know we'll get about 90 plus saying that they want the bill passed.
Really?
Yes. Because if you sit in the trot-rows, you sit in the marketplace, you sit at restaurants and you hear people's discussion, it will really tell you. And I think I think someone made one we're doing the remarks called session. Somebody made a remark that, look, he thinks about 97% of Ghanaians support it. And secondly, it is a bill that has generated interest, anxiety,
a lot,
debate,
a lot
in the country.
A lot.
People have shown so much interest.
Yeah. There are those who are for it, there are those who are against this, and a whole lot.
So we cannot fail Ghanaians. And the speaker has made his position clear. So I'm very sure that next sitting, either first or second week of May, we'll resume our sitting. By the time that sitting will come to a close, the bill might have been passed. Because there's a general consensus. So what are we going to debate?
Have you played too much politics with this bill?
Not really. I don't think we play too much politics.
Especially among the two political parties.
To some extent, yes. To some extent, yes. You see, that is why when the president made his statement that the bill was not a priority, that is why it generated the heat that it generated. Why? Because when a president refused to sign the bill, not even refused, even made them to write a letter to Parliament that, hey, you dare not bring the bill to near my office. Definitely NDC at that time were in opposition. We said no. Why not? Because if a bill is passed in Parliament and it goes to the president, if the president feels for some reason he won't assent to it, there is a procedure for him to follow. By this one, before the bill could even leave the prisons of Parliament, a letter had come to caution the clerk, don't bring it. So definitely it generated arguments. And we, as a responsible opposition at that time, NDC, we joined the good people of Ghana in condemning the act. So that is why when the president says it's not a priority, then our opponent says, no, when you were in position, you say it must be signed. Why are you not saying that it's not a priority? So you see, so some politics have taken place. And when MPP was in power, it was only one member. And I believe that one member, he did it because of his religious belief, because he was a reverend.
Yeah.
And I believe at that time the party saw him as a deviant, because it was only one person from their side. Today, I've seen about 3 or 4 people who have joined him to sign the bill, and they are co-sponsors.
Okay. Now, let's leave LGBT. You're giving the assurance that when Parliament comes, you are going to, pass. Let's talk about constituency. How's constituency doing?
Oh, constituency is fine.
310 member of Parliament?
Sure.
It's 3, right?
Yes.
Tell us some of the developments in the constituency.
Talk of development.
Let's start with health.
Health. Well, as for health, I've done a lot of work when it comes to health, like our chief's compound.
Okay.
Last Parliament, I used my National Health Insurance Levy Fund for the MPs to build a chief's compound for a community and equipped it.
Okay.
In a community called Senisu. There's the Seni River passes there, so they call it Senisu. I equipped it. Even I can say when I was a DC and then we built chief's compound, we never equipped it. We just put the structure and then hand it over to
the assembly to
health directorate. Whichever way they started, we didn't know.
Yeah.
But this time around, we've changed the narration now. Wherever we put a chief's compound, I use government to put it. I furnish it. And recently, Gradima is my community where I was born and bred. Their chief's compound, it was when I was a DC, it was one of the chief's compound I built when I was a DC.
Okay.
And it got so deteriorated. We renovated it, and equipped it again, because before 2024, they had no waiting place. The chief's compound concept is basically on this postnatal and prenatal, and it much depends on pregnancy and then all those things. So reproductive health, much of it centered on reproductive health. So when the women will go for this weighing, we call it weighing, they go to weigh the kids and other things. They have no sitting place. So I built a very nice place for them. When they go, they can sit and they were not having a motorbike because they have satellite communities. And I have to provide them with a motorbike. So this time around, when we renovated it, then when I went to inspect it, I realized that the delivery bed that they were using there, it was an improvised delivery bed by the midwife. And secondly, when one woman, she told me that she could deliver 3-4 a day. And when they deliver and they want to detain the women there, sometimes they have only one hostel bed. So if this woman the first one comes to deliver and then they have to detain her for some 2-3 hours and another one comes, then the second one will have to be lying on the floor. So so what I did was I got the delivery bed for them and gave them 3 hostel beds.
Extra beds, yeah.
Then and then the examination, they were not even also equally having an examination bed. So when you go and the nurse want to examine you, if something is about, you sit in the chair and stretch it for. So they needed an examination bed. So all these things have been equipped. Then you go to Jatonzongo Chief's compound. They also didn't have delivery beds and hostel beds. So I have provided them to examination bed, delivery bed, and 2 hospital beds. You know, this they are not supposed to admit.
Yeah.
But sometimes somebody come and his BP
critical condition.
Let's say, for instance, his BP is high, and you need to detain him,
let the person relax for a while.
Relax for a while. So we provided those things. And just last week, as we say, the biggest one, the World Bank was doing some feeder rows, and some communities, they will get there. So this community will have to provide a school classroom block. Some they say, let us provide a chief's compound. And then one of them is Citi. They built a very beautiful structure for them. That was in 2023, 24. And the structure is still there. So I said, no, this won't happen. And there's no light. So we have to go and install solar light of a 4 kVA.
Okay.
So that it can power the fridges and all those things. So after we've done that, then it was left with the equipment. So last week, I sent about 15 different types of equipment. The hostel beds were 3, delivery bed 1, examination bed, vaccine fridge, until I asked them to bring what they need to run the place. I didn't actually know that the fridge for vaccine was a different
one. Yeah.
so when I just but they said no, it's a different one. And when they brought it, it's very nice. And then a TV set for the OPD, 50-inch TV. Then thermometer, glucometer, all those things. At least we are linking it up with the primary health care that the president launched not too long ago. So maybe some of us are even taking ahead of the president because you can't run primary health care when these equipments are not there. So that is, and even the municipal hostel, they equally have a lot of problems there. And I think last Parliament, when they wanted to go paperless, I have to provide them with some computers so that before then they would just be writing, and you have to carry your card along. So we supported them, and there are certain little things we do just to help them. And recently, that was later last year, when they started pushing the medical doctors to the rural area, we had one specialist, dentist.
Okay.
And we got there, and there was no dental chair. So the doctor told me, "Oh, Honorable, this is our problem." So
you got them one.
I got them one, and surprising me to know that the whole of the 11 districts or constituencies within the Bono East, it is Holy Family who has a dental chair, then St. Teresa, Granza have, and then Kintampo.
You have a lot to do then.
So it means that the whole of the Far East, East, that's a Sydney West, West and East, through East and West. Then at all the 5 constituencies, if they have any oral health situation, they now come to Atebibu Municipal Hospital.
Now you are doing well for your people then. Thank you. We've run out of time. I wish you can continue this conversation, but I will invite you again. I'll bring you here again so we can have extensive conversation about the constituency.
I'm always ready.
Thank you. So we just spoke about health. The next time we'll talk about education and infrastructure and the rest.
That'd be fantastic.
Thank you very much for coming.
You're most welcome.
My guest tonight on Point Blank, Sanja Nanja. He's a member of parliament for the Atebu Buamantin constituency, a member of the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament, currently considering the anti-LGBT bill. Tomorrow, their sitting will continue. And this has been another exciting edition of Eyewitness News that came to you live from our studios here in Accra. My name is Sami Wiafe. Earlier, you heard Ajubi Wiafe Akente, show produced by Kwabena Wilson, Beverly London, and Julian Odam, with technical assistance from Emmanuel Latte. Professor Sima also assisted us. So we'll come your way again tomorrow. May the good Lord be with us all.